A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. Well, lots making news this Friday morning. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and these are the headlines. India defined by multiplicity of faith, culture and language. Soul of India is tolerance, says former President Pranab Mukherjee at RSS event. Sangh leaders say speech reminded of India's glorious history. Congress partially sheds nervousness about political implications. Home Minister Rajnath Singh reviews security for Amarnath Yatra. Ahead of his visit to the international border areas today, appeals to stakeholders in Kashmir to come forward, says it is necessary to be right-minded and not like-minded to hold talks. Facebook told to explain reports of sharing user data with the device manufacturers by 20th of June. Social media firm blames a software bug for making private posts of around 14 million users public. Indian government expresses concern over violations. Heavy rains lash Kerala as southwest monsoon becomes active. Moderate pre-monsoon showers throw Mumbai out of gear. City's civic body says Navy personnel will be deployed for rescue if required. And after summit in Singapore, Trump and Kim could next meet in the White House. US President says he might invite the North Korean leader if their Singapore tryst goes well. Our top story is from Nagpur, where former President Pranab Mukherjee shared his understanding of nationalism and patriotism in the context of India and emphasized on the need for engagement and dialogue at the RSS event in Nagpur on Thursday. Meanwhile, reacting to the speech, the RSS said that Mukherjee's speech reminded the glorious history of the nation and strengthened the conversation around the concept of nation, nationalism and patriotism. Take a look at this report.
Addressing the RSS event in Nagpur on Thursday, former President Pranab Mukherjee said the soul of India resides in pluralism and the country's nationalism is above political, religion and regional inclinations.
The multiplicity in culture, faith and language is what makes India special. We derive our strength from tolerance. We accept and respect our pluralism. We celebrate our diversity. Any attempt at defining our nationhood in terms of dogma and identities of religion, region, hatred and intolerance will only lead to the dilution of our national identity.
The former president also stressed on the need for dialogue in public discourse.
In a democracy, I believe informed and reasoned public engagement on all issues of national importance is essential. A dialogue is necessary not only to balance the competing interests but also to reconcile them. Divergent strands in public discourse have to be recognized. We may argue, we may agree, we may not agree, but we cannot deny the essential prevalence of multiplicity of opinion.
Reacting to the speech, Congress said Mukherjee spoke about India's pluralism and tolerance and highlighted the need of free public discourse.
RSS के मुख्यालय नागपुर में RSS और देश को ये बताने का प्रयास किया कि भारत उसकी विविधता में जीता है, भारत अहिंसा के अंदर जीता है। जो श्री प्रणब मुखर्जी ने स्पष्ट शब्दों में कहा, उसकी तरफ ध्यान देने की आवश्यकता है।
BJP leaders welcomed the former president's speech.
संवाद होना चाहिए, सारे विषयों को लेकर संवाद होना चाहिए। देश चलना है। देश का लोकतंत्र है, बिना संवाद के कोई बात बनेगी नहीं, उनका कहने का था। प्रणब मुखर्जी बहुत महान ऊंची व्यक्ति है, महान व्यक्ति है। उन्होंने देश की परंपरा, देश के संस्कृति, देश के संस्कारों से पूर्ण रूप से न्याय थे उन्होंने भारतीय परंपरा के अनुसार किसी से संवाद नहीं रखना ये बुरी बात है, यही मानते हुए यहाँ आए हैं।
The RSS also said that Mukherjee's address reminded the 5,000-year-old cultural heritage of the country. RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat had called the former president a man of intellect and experience. He dismissed the controversy surrounding Mukherjee's invitation to the RSS event.
हमने सहज रूप से उनको आमंत्रण दिया, उन्होंने हमारे हृदय का स्नेह पहचान कर सम्मति दी और वहां यहाँ उपस्थित है। एक सहज स्वाभाविक बात है। उनको कैसे बुलाया और वो क्यों जा रहे हैं, ये चर्चा निरर्थक है। संघ तो संपूर्ण समाज को संगठित करना चाहता है और इसलिए हमारे लिए कोई पराया नहीं है। विविधता में एकता ये अपने देश की हजारों वर्षों से परंपरा रही है।
Former President Pranab Mukherjee was invited by the RSS to address its Shiksha Varg event, a decision which was criticized by several Congress leaders and his family members. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
On to the other top story. The government has sought an explanation from Facebook over reports of data sharing without the explicit consent with the device manufacturers. Now, taking suo motu note of reports, Information and Technology Ministry has sought a detailed factual report from Facebook by 20th of June. Reports claim that Facebook has agreements which allow the phone and other device manufacturers to access its users' personal information, including that of their friends, without their explicit consent. Meanwhile, Facebook has said that the private posts of around 14 million users were made public due to a software bug. It added that this bug was active from 18th of May to 27th of May, which changed the users' privacy settings to public without them knowing. And Home Minister Rajnath Singh's two-day visit to Kashmir will conclude today. Rajnath Singh will reach Jammu from Kupwara, where he will visit the international border areas at Arispura and Chakroi in Jammu district for a direct interaction with the people living along the Indo-Pak border. He is likely to review the construction of individual and community bunkers, which was approved by him for the people living in border areas. Earlier on Thursday, Rajnath Singh said that the Modi government is keen to hold dialogue for peace in the valley, but it can only happen with right-minded people. He said that a decision on extending the ceasefire beyond Ramadan will be taken after reviewing the situation in Jammu and Kashmir. He further added that the centre has appointed a special representative for holding talks with all the stakeholders in the state. He also appealed to the people to come forward for bringing back peace in the state.
बातचीत के लिए लाइक माइंडेड होना जरूरी नहीं है, लेकिन राइट माइंडेड होना जरूरी है। जो इस रमजान के मुकद्दस महीने में भी अपनी हरकत से बाज नहीं आ रहे हैं, क्या उनकी इस फितरत को नापाक नहीं कहा जाना चाहिए? और मैं कहना चाहता हूं, नौजवान बच्चों को गुमराह करना ये धोखा ही नहीं है उनके साथ, बल्कि जुर्म है, जरायम है।
Meanwhile, in related news, there have been more than 1,000 incidents of ceasefire violation by Pakistan this year. This was confirmed by MEA spokesperson Ravish Kumar. Ravish Kumar said that whenever such attacks happen, the matter is taken very strongly with the Pakistani side. Meanwhile, India has also barred Pakistan academicians from participating in the Association for Asian Studies. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar said that the decision was taken seeing overall unfriendly relations with Pakistan. The conference is scheduled to take place next month in Delhi, where India will host Asian studies scholars from all over the world.
Only this year, in 2018, there have been more than 1,000 unprovoked ceasefire violations by Pakistan. We have also maintained that the ceasefire violation by Pakistan is used as a cover to infiltrate terrorists into our territory, and we have seen the results of such infiltration in the past. We hope that Pakistan will realize what it is doing and adheres by the 2003 ceasefire agreement between the two countries. One major consideration which goes into when we take a decision, one of course is the inputs which we receive from agencies, but one very important input is the state of relationship. If the state of relationship is good, positive, then it is these things are very smooth and very free-flowing. And if you have a relationship which is not smooth, then of course there are due diligence and there are then all these things comes into play. And yes, I think participation by Pakistan or any other country, I think it is a reflection of the current state of relationship between India and that country.
And the Defence Ministry has approved military purchases worth over 5,500 crore rupees. This includes the purchase of 12 high-power radars for the Indian Air Force. The decision was taken at a meeting of the Defence Acquisition Council, which was chaired by Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The DAC is the Defence Ministry's highest decision-making body on procurement. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a bilateral meeting with the Chinese President Xi Jinping on Saturday, that is tomorrow. The External Affairs Ministry confirmed this on Thursday, that the meeting will take place on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in China, in China's Shandong province. Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar has said that the bilateral meeting will take place on 9th of June. Prime Minister Modi will be participating in the 18th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit on 9th and 10th of June. Well, the meeting comes after an informal summit between the two leaders in Wuhan in April, where Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping held wide-ranging discussions.
This will be the first SCO summit after India became a member in June 2017. Among other issues, the summit is expected to focus on opportunities for cooperation among SCO members and the situation in the region. Prime Minister's programming Qingdao includes participation in the welcome banquet hosted by the Chinese President Xi Jinping in the evening of 9th June 2018. The main day of the SCO summit is 10th June. Prime Minister will attend the SCO Heads of States meeting in both the restricted as well as the extended formats. In addition, bilateral meetings of Prime Minister are planned on the sidelines of the summit. The SCO summit is a forum which enables India to engage with the countries of Central Asia.
News on Indian Railways. Well, under fire for its proposal to enforce a 30-year-old rule to penalize the passengers for carrying excess baggage, the Railways has now shelved the plan. Railway said that the plan was only to generate awareness among travellers that carry excess luggage causes inconvenience to others. The National Transporter had earlier launched a 6-day drive from 1st of June to check for excess baggage. Railways had decided to strictly enforce the rule to fine the passengers up to 6 times the stipulated luggage weight. Now, according to the prescribed norms, a sleeper class and a second class passenger can carry luggage weighing 40 grams and 35 kg respectively without paying any extra money. Similarly, an AC first class passenger can carry 70 kilograms of luggage for free. An AC 2-tier passenger can travel with 50 kg of luggage for free, while an AC 3-tier sleeper or AC chair car passenger can carry 40 kgs of luggage for free. And here is a good news story. Lost trafficked children will now be getting a helping hand from Railways. In order to provide assistance to lost, abandoned and trafficked children in the Railways network, Indian Railways has launched an awareness campaign along with the National Commission for the Protection of Children's Rights. Now, a standard operating procedure has been put in place, which will not only involve raising awareness of all the stakeholders involved to identify such children with ease, but the child help desks will also be set up across stations. Here is a report. This play being presented here is based on real-life incidents. Statistics say that a needy child comes in contact with railways every 5 minutes. These children requiring assistance include lost, abandoned, trafficked and run-away children. In the last 4 years, RPF has rescued close to 35,000 children, among them a large number being girls, from railway stations or trains who had either left home on their own or were being trafficked and exploited by others. The Railway Ministries has set up child desks at 88 stations to help such children.
There is not much problem. Children are through the CWC are taken to institutional childcare, and then from there the rehabilitation will start. Main thing is to restore the children to their families if they want to be restored. That is very big if. जो खुद भाग रहे हैं उनको काउंसलिंग की ज़रूरत होती है, उनको थोड़ा और रिहैबिलिटेशन की ज़रूरत होती है, और जो खो गए हैं उनको रिस्टोरेशन की ज़रूरत होती है.
It is for the first time that such a campaign has been launched to address the issue of protection of children across the entire railway system. The idea is to sensitize all stakeholders, passengers, vendors, porters. And according to the new standard operating procedure, whenever a child is found at any railway station, he or she will be escorted by rail personnel and provided care and kept safe, and also later be rehabilitated. Currently, the SOP is successfully implemented at 88 stations and will be slowly put in place at all the 8,000 railway stations in the country.
पूरे रेल विभाग में आरपीएफ का बहुत रोल है, इसमें कमर्शियल विभाग का बहुत रोल है. इनको पूरा हमने सचेत किया है कि अगर कोई बच्चा पाया जाए स्टेशन पे और उसके सिम्टम्स भी बताए हैं कि किस तरह के अगर सिम्टम्स होते हैं बच्चों में आपको देखने को मिलते हैं, तो आप क्या एक्शन लें जिससे उस बच्चे को बचाया जा सके. और जो भी बच्चों की तस्करी होती है वो जनरली रेल के माध्यम से ही होती है. तो स्टेशनों पे हमारी सजगता और हमारी सेंसिटिवनेस, ये जो मेनेस है, इस मेनेस को कम करने में काफ़ी सहायक सिद्ध होगी.
Railways, which carries about 2.5 crore passengers every day, is one of the most common transit points for traffickers who lure children to cities with the promises of good jobs but sell them into slavery as domestic workers, to work in small manufacturing units, farming or pushed into sexual slavery. It is heartening that Railways has sprung into action to provide assistance to these lost, abandoned and trafficked children in the network. With camera person Shiv Kumar, this is Arvind Kumar Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV. And as part of his Sampark Se Samarthan initiative, BJP President Amit Shah met Akali Dal leader Parkash Singh Badal in Chandigarh on Thursday. SED President Sukhbir Singh Badal said that the meeting was fruitful. Both the leaders discussed the strategy to win the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. He also claimed that BJP and Akali Dal's alliance will continue in the future as well. Meanwhile, Shah also met BJP leaders and workers separately in party's Punjab and Chandigarh unit officers. Amit Shah also met prominent Chandigarh personalities, including a veteran athlete Milkha Singh and hockey Olympian Balbir Singh. Milkha Singh was all praise for Prime Minister Modi and said that he liked the way he was maintaining cordial relations with the foreign nations. He also requested Amit Shah to promote sports in the country. Amit Shah also met hockey legend Balbir Singh at his residence in Chandigarh. Shah was accompanied by BJP's Chandigarh MP Kiran Kher and others. And during the meet, Balbir Singh said that the sports budget should be increased and more infrastructure should be created. BJP President shared with him the details of various initiatives undertaken by Prime Minister Modi's government in the last 4 years. And the centre has approved the construction of 1.5 lakh houses for urban poor under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, taking the tally to 47.52 lakh houses under the program in the last 4 years. Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said this on Thursday that the government is committed to provide housing for all by 2022.
The government has taken a mission mode approach towards providing housing for all. Stating this, Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri informed that around 27 lakh dwelling units are in various stages of completion, while over 8 lakh houses have been already completed under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Over 1.65 lakh people benefited from the credit-linked subsidy scheme under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban during 2015 and 18, as against only 18,166 people who benefited from the earlier comparable interest subsidy schemes between 2008 and 2013.
प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना हमारे पास 8 मॉडल्स हैं. 6 of these models involve using government land and some involve using private land. So they're private-public partnership.
The Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is also considering borrowing funds from the market to give a push to urban infrastructure projects launched over the last 4 years.
Independent steps being taken to smartify a lot of regions. We are going to the cabinet with one more. I think we've already initiated the financial thing of having something. Many more will come. So इसमें don't confine yourself to हमारे यहाँ 4041 cities है हिंदुस्तान में और ये बढ़ती जाएंगी with our population and process of urbanization.
The Housing and Urban Affairs Minister also said that the physical contours of Smart City to be visible by June end in various states. 99 cities were selected under the ambitious Smart City mission at an outlay of 2.04 lakh crore rupees. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's get you all the weather updates. The southwest monsoon has advanced further along the west coast, bringing a spell of heavy rains in Kerala and Mumbai. Several areas in Mumbai were waterlogged and local trains were also delayed due to heavy rains along the Maharashtra coast on Thursday. The Indian Met Department has warned people to remain indoors as the rain actively continues to increase in the state. Meanwhile, emergency Navy personnel were also put on alert at several areas and schools were advised to remain open round the clock to provide shelter to the stranded people. The southwest monsoon is currently active over Kerala with heavy rains lashing the southern state. The state is likely to experience widespread rainfall during the next 5 days. Meanwhile, in north of the country, the maximum temperature in several parts of the region remained above normal, with the national capital registering a higher than average maximum temperature of 41.4 degrees Celsius. And heatwave conditions also continue to prevail in a few places of western Rajasthan. Police also reported 7 deaths in Rajasthan over the past 2 days in rain-related incidents. The Met Office has also forecast a possibility of thunderstorms and dust storms in over 20 districts of Uttar Pradesh. So let's take a look at all the weather updates and at the heat wave conditions across the country. And let's get you some more national news. Let's go nationwide. Kailash Mansarovar Yatra will begin from today through 2 routes in Uttarakhand and Nathula Pass in Sikkim. According to the central government, a total of 1,580 pilgrims will undertake the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, with 500 of them taking the Nathula Pass route. The Nathula Pass route for the Yatra had been shut by the Chinese after the 73-day-long Doklam standoff last year. Gangster Abu Salim on Wednesday was sentenced to 7 years rigorous imprisonment in an extortion case. Salim was found guilty of demanding 5 crore rupees as protection money from a businessman in 2002. He was convicted on 26th of May. 4 other accused in the case were acquitted due to lack of evidence. Salim is currently lodged in prison in Mumbai in various other cases, including the 1993 Mumbai blast. A special court in Lucknow on Thursday took cognizance of the CBI charge sheet filed against Kanpur-based Rotomag Group chairman Vikram Kothari and his son Rahul Kothari in connection with the 3,690 crore rupees alleged loan case. The agency has charged the father-son duo, who are in judicial custody, along with the other co-accused with alleged criminal conspiracy and cheating under the Prevention of Corruption Act. A consortium of 7 nationalized banks had given loans worth 2,919 crore rupees to the Rotomac Global Private Limited from 2008 onwards. Let's get to the top international news. US President Donald Trump has said that he would consider inviting North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to the White House if their summit in Singapore goes well. Donald Trump made the comment after meeting Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to discuss the 12th of June summit. He said it was possible an agreement to end the Korean War could be reached, though he called that the easy part of the negotiations. The US and its regional allies want to see North Korea give up its nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that North Korea has confirmed to the US its willingness to denuclearize.
Has indicated to me personally that he is prepared to denuclearize, that he understands that the current model doesn't work, that he's prepared to denuclearize, and that, two, he understands that we can't do it the way we've done it before, that this has to be big and bold, and we have to agree to making major changes. We can't step through this over years, but rather need to acknowledge it will take some amount of time, that this doesn't happen instantaneously.
Let's get you all the football action. And India suffered a 1-2 defeat against New Zealand in their final league match of the Intercontinental Cup in Mumbai yesterday. The hosts took the lead through captain Sunil Chhetri in the 47th minute, but the New Zealand squad retaliated with an equalizer in the 49th minute. The Indian defence looked shaky throughout the match, and the New Zealand squad managed to break through and score the winning goal in the 86th minute. However, despite the loss, the Indian team are likely to be in the final to be played on 10th of June with the 6 points from 2 earlier wins. Now, India's place in the final depends on the result of the match between Kenya and Taipei later today. Kenya winning with a huge difference could result in India missing out on a place in the final. Now, all the action from the Roland Garros, and world number 1 Simona Halep gets another chance to land her first Grand Slam title after she beat Gabrielle Muguruza in the semi-finals yesterday. She is set to face Sloane Stephens in the women's singles finals tomorrow. Meanwhile, Marco Cecchinato is set to face 7th seed Dominic Thiem in the men's singles semi-finals today. And the second semi-final game between a 10-time champion Rafael Nadal and 5th seed Juan Martín del Potro will also be played later today. And in the men's doubles, French duo of Pierre Hugues Herbert and Nicolas Mahut advanced to the final of the Roland Garros men's doubles, and their opponent will be decided in the semi-final match later today. And the women's doubles semi-final matches will also be played later in the day today. And that's it from me and my team in this edition of Breakfast News. But news and updates continue on your channel. Thanks for watching.